Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are in this world. I'm Lori. It is Monday, the 16th of May. It is a beautiful spring day here in California. I got up really early this morning and the birds were chirping, and it brought me right into a wonderful present moment to hear the birds and all the animals running around at 6 o'clock in the morning. And I'm really glad to be with you today. We're going to do a mantra practice that is, I'll explain a little bit about what a mantra practice is, but it's very effective at getting to the more subtle aspect of yourself, that inner landscape, your consciousness, or what you could call the void, the zone, if you're an athlete. It's that place of stillness from which all possibilities arise. And I was thinking, because I was at a golf tournament this last weekend as well, yesterday in fact, that using mantras reminds me a lot of my son's approach to golf. Before every shot, he has the same routine, and he sets himself up for every shot, so that he can free himself from this mental chatter that can take his focus away from being fully present and grounded in his zone, so that he can perform under a lot of times some pressure to make those shots and to do well, hit par. And what I notice is, as he's gotten into repeating this over and over again and getting into his routine, he settles his body and he trains his brain to come back to his focus of the shot right in front of him, instead of thinking 3 shots ahead or what just happened. You know, there's a phrase in golf that your next shot is your best shot. So by focusing on this routine and freeing his mind up, he can eliminate that chatter that can keep him distracted, or can keep all of us distracted, right? We all know that mental chatter. And I found it so similar to what we do in meditation. You know, we set ourselves up for a good meditation by taking some long, slow, deep breaths, by finding a comfortable space, by sitting upright, aligning our head, neck, and spine, all of the things that we talk about every week. And what we can do as well is use a mantra, which can help us access our deeper wisdom and get into our own zone of genius, our own inner landscape, and into some of those more subtle aspects of ourselves. So in case you're not aware, a mantra is made up of 2 root words from Sanskrit, one of the ancient languages. Man means mind, and tra means instrument or a vehicle. So a mantra is an instrument or a vehicle for the mind. And if you're not aware, in India, I learned this through my meditation teacher training. In India, elephant trainers train elephants when they're very young to hold a baton in their trunks. So if you imagine this pen like a baton, and what it does is it keeps the elephant from getting distracted while it's being trained. So if you didn't have that there and the trunk were just kind of free and flowing, it would be coming into the person's hair and sniffing their clothes and maybe eating some fruit or going here and there. So it's wandering all over the place. But when you give an elephant a stick or a baton, it holds its attention so that it can actually focus on the training. And so just like a mantra, or just like a baton does for an elephant, a mantra does that for us in our minds. So this kind of mantra, if you will, is a little different from mantras that we live by. For example, you need to walk your talk or treat others like you would like to be treated, the golden rule. This kind of mantra actually takes us from this thinking, active mind, from the external world, into our inner experience and the silence ultimately that underlies all thoughts, and all activities. As I said before, the sky, if you remember Pema Chodron talking about, we are the sky and our emotions or our thoughts are the weather or they're clouds just passing through. So today we're going to use, as I said, a Sanskrit mantra, and I will share that with you in a little bit as we get closer to the meditation. And then afterwards, we'll do a fun little practice to help you tune in to more subtle experiences. So as you know, if you've practiced with me before, I love to talk about a couple of essentials. The first one is that it's okay to have thoughts. They are natural. Your job is simply to notice when you have thoughts, and when you do, to bring your focus right back to the breath. Think about that elephant with the stick, right? Instead of focusing all over the place, you just come right back to your breath, right back to whatever it is. In this case today, it will actually be a mantra to help you focus your mind. Don't try too hard to make anything happen. Just have the experience that you're having. You might think you need to levitate or see colors or, have some crazy insight in meditation, and none of that may be happening, and that is totally fine. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just having the experience that you're having. Let go of expectations. I always say treat every meditation like it's your first one. Get curious and interested, and let go of waiting for anything to happen and just see what shows up. Just resist nothing. Always be kind to yourself. There's no sense in beating yourself up for not having a certain experience or something happening or not happening. It doesn't make the meditation any better. And finally, stick with the practice. Even if it gets challenging or you find your mind is wandering a lot, which I still find, sometimes hard to settle. Personally, it's especially when life is busy. So stick with it. It's like building a muscle. And over time, you'll find you'll have more and more strength, more and more focus. We'll be meditating today for about 10 or 15 minutes, and I will keep track of the time. Okay, so let's begin. Go ahead, as I mentioned in the beginning, get yourself comfortable and in a place of relative stillness with your hands resting gently in your lap. Sit in a position that allows you to be relaxed, but also alert, which is why in meditation we suggest that you sit upright most of the time instead of lying down. And if you just think about your neck and your head, maybe do a little circling here just to loosen it up, and then go ahead and align your head, your neck, and your spine. And when you're ready, let's transition from the external world to our internal world and drop our gaze or gently close our eyes. And let's begin by taking some long, slow, deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And do this at your own pace. It sends a signal to your body that it's okay to relax. You're in a safe space. There's nowhere to go and nowhere to be except right here in this moment. Now let your breath return to its natural rhythm and depth. And perhaps you'll notice that you're a bit more aware of the sounds around you. Welcome everything that you hear without any judgment. And instead, tune into the sounds in your environment. You might notice sounds that come and sounds that go. You might notice some that are far away in the distance. Perhaps some sounds are irritating to you or distract you, and some are pleasant or perhaps more constant. Simply imagine that everything, as you're hearing it right now, whatever you're feeling in this moment, is exactly the way that it's meant to be. It is perfect. It is whole. And it is complete. Now turn your attention to the physical sensations you might notice. Perhaps the breath on your upper lip, your hands in your lap. Perhaps how your seat is supported by the floor or by your chair or sofa. Notice any emotions that you feel and invite your body to soften even more as you release any tension, any worries, and tune into this moment, right here and right now. Tune into your scalp and relax. Feel the sensation of any worries, any tension, simply melting away. And travel to your eyes and your cheeks, your nose and lips, melting away any tension in your jaw, in your neck, in your shoulders. Perhaps tuning into your chest and your belly and your lower back, and releasing any tension you might feel. And if you notice that your mind is wandering, or your mind is telling you a story about any tension or discomfort, simply return to your breath and allow everything to be exactly as it is. Bring your attention to your hips and your legs, noticing any tension, any discomfort, and simply allow it to melt away. Traveling now to your knees and your calves, all the way to your ankles and your feet. And if you'd like to give your toes a little wiggle to release any excess tension, you can do that now. And bringing your attention now again to your shoulders and neck, and traveling down your arms to your elbows and your forearms, your wrists, and your fingers and hands, releasing any tension, any discomfort, and simply melting away any of that discomfort at the tips of your fingers as you wiggle them. We're going to begin our silent mantra practice using the breath. As you inhale, silently think, so hum, H-U-M. So inhale, so, and then as you exhale, the sound hum. This simply means I am that. So hum. Putting your attention on the mantra rather than any meaning of the mantra. And tune in to the mantra with your breath. So on the inhale, hum on the exhale. Anytime you notice your attention drifting away, you can simply bring it back to the mantra again and again as you become more in tune with that inner landscape, the inner consciousness, the sky, and less in tune with the weather of your thoughts. Simply and easily continue to repeat this mantra, letting go of any expectations and letting everything be as it is. So hum. We'll be doing this practice for a few minutes, and I will keep track of the time. If you find your mind is wandering, simply bring it back to the mantra. So hum. So on the inhale, hum. On the exhale, keeping your eyes closed, stop repeating the mantra and simply rest in being. Rest in loving awareness. Begin to tune in now to the subtle sensations in the body, drawing your attention to the heart, tuning into the way the body moves when the heart beats. Perhaps noticing sensations in the body, like temperature or movement, lightness. And as you allow your breath to be natural, tune into the energy that's activated through the breath. Which way does the energy move through your body? Let anything that you sense just be. Expand your awareness to sense your aliveness, perhaps in your hands or your feet, inside of your body, through the aliveness of your cells, your heart, your brain. You might even sense a light or a pulsing of energy, tingling, bliss. This is your life force. There's nothing you have to feel, simply what is here. That loving awareness, that inner landscape that underlies everything. The sky. You might silently say the affirmation, I am loving awareness. I am loving awareness. Keep the inward focus for another minute or so, and I'll keep track of the time. We'll be coming out of meditation slowly. I invite you now to deepen your breath, perhaps inviting some gentle movements into the body, wiggling your fingers and toes, perhaps gently moving your shoulders or your feet. There's no rush. Take your time. It's really important to transition from the space of simply being to the world of doing that's going on all around us. And be gentle with yourself as you make that transition. When you feel ready to open your eyes, you might start first with a downward gaze. And then gradually open your eyes when you're ready to open them all the way. So I'd love to close today's practice with a passage from Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a little book that I love to get inspiration from. And for me, he is I'm going to call him the godfather, but the father of um, kindness and mindfulness. And he says here, it is essential to understand that as an emotion, that an emotion is merely something that arises, remains, and then goes away. A storm comes, it stays a while, and then it moves away. At the critical moment, remember that you are much more than your emotions. This is a simple thing that everybody knows, but you may need to be reminded of it. You are much more than your emotions. Many people have no idea how to face their emotions, and they suffer because of it. So as we think about today's practice and how easily it is to become distracted, going back to the golf analogy, when you come into a situation where you're distracted, it's very hard to be fully present and to realize the power of the next moment. But when you control your thoughts or when you control your focus and you come back time and time again with your thoughts when they go astray and maintain that focus, you develop an awareness. There is a level of creation that can happen in that moment that doesn't necessarily happen when you're off daydreaming in the future and thinking about the past. So I encourage you all today to think about the beauty of this world around you and to tune in through your senses and your presence. And I thank you so much for being with me today. Namaste.